There's a program on TV right now. Did Columbus discover America? I haven't seen any of it, but I'm recording it. Actually, I saw a glimpse of it. Now, it might be the same program that was on a few years ago. But did Columbus discover America? Did he? Well, we know Vikings were here, permanent settlements, indisputable proof that Vikings had made it over here, probably by the 11th century, probably by the 1000s. They were here and established permanent settlements. They left later on. And we also found evidence that they went as far south as Virginia, which is pretty amazing. There is evidence to show that the Chinese may have come to the Americas. And there's a theory that the Phoenicians came, or someone came and gave Mayans mathematics. Now, did the Vikings discover America? Did the Chinese? Did Columbus? Well, if you mean who got here first, oh yeah, I just want to say that there was a program about these Chinese explorers, and I was watching it, and they got here in, I think, 1489, maybe 1452. Well, wait, no, 1452 is not it. But like 3 years before Columbus and so Columbus did not discover America. The Chinese discovered America. What about the Vikings? Wait a minute. What about the Vikings? We know they were here. They had permanent settlements. So I thought that was kind of funny, that little rushed thing by the narrator at the end. But the Vikings did not discover America. I mean, well, let's go back further. There's the Siberian land bridge, well, theory, but that. Then there was constant, continual. I mean, the people up at the north along the western edge by Siberia, almost by Russia, or the Russian, what is now owned by Russia, or what is now part of Russia, is almost touching Alaska. Those people always knew each other were there. They always knew there was another place right across. Did they discover America? Can America be discovered? I'd say that you would have to say Columbus. Why? Why is that? Why not the Vikings? Well, because China, the Vikings, the Phoenicians, those people who always knew it was there, never made it known to the world, never established continual trade, never interacted in a major way with the cultures. Never revealed to the world, hey, this is here. And we're going to set up a permanent relationship between the old world, Europe, Africa, and Asia, with North and South America. Columbus made it known to the entire world that there were 2 continents sitting there. Now, people say, oh, nobody discovered America. There was a complex civilization here. Yes, there was. You had Aztecs and Incas. Those are the 2 high civilizations here. And you had a civilization based in Illinois called the Mississippian culture that died out right when Columbus got here. Not because of Columbus, but right as Columbus was setting foot on the Bahamas, their culture went into rapid decline, and before any white man ever saw it, it was gone. It was kind of like the Toltecs or the Teotihuacanes. They kind of just destroyed their civilization and walked back into the forests. Well, that was with Teotihuacan. With the Mississippian culture, we don't know. I actually have a reconstruction of Cahokia on it's like a long postcard looking thing that I got from Cahokia Mounds. So discovered, does that mean the thing didn't exist? No, that's inventing. That means you invented it. Discovered, I mean, you found it. There's this weird looking fish in Lake Michigan I saw, and apparently it doesn't exist. Well, I discovered a new species. No, I didn't. I happened to see it. When we're talking about discoveries of animals, of places, of stars, of anything, it's who makes that known to the rest of the world, or who knows about that, catalogs it, everything like that. You know, somebody discovers buried treasure. No, I discovered that before you. I walked past and saw that there was a chest there. Did you open it up? No. The Vikings may have wrote about it, Vinland, and the Chinese may have, had a few jots down in their records. But did most people in China, I mean, besides that little group and a writer, who knew? So, talking about discovered, yeah, it's kind of a poor term to use, but made contact, made full cultural exchange. Columbus. Now, we don't like the fact that Columbus discovered America. He's not white in the whitest sense. He's not an Anglo. He's not Northern European. Probably had, Mediterranean skin. An Italian with some, Spaniards and I believe it was Portuguese. Isabel and Ferdinand. Doesn't matter. Still olive-skinned Mediterranean people. And people say, yeah, he was kind of a loser. He kind of even didn't. He wanted to claim that he found and discovered the Indies. He didn't even know. Yeah, well, he's the one that set up the journey, bumped into it by accident, and that's how the West made contact. Now, regardless of what would happen next with the asshole Cortez and scumbags like that, and I don't know how people feel about it. Some people think he's great. Some people don't. But nevertheless, it happened. It was an event. And you had transatlantic slave trade, brutality towards the Native Americans, colonization, massive epidemics going both ways too. You had things like, syphilis and gonorrhea, and I believe malaria going back to Europe. And you had tuberculosis and cholera. Now the thing is that there were even some diseases that all Europeans were immune to, all of them, because you had things like the plagues, the Black Death, and other things that ran rampant. And those who survived had an immunity to it, so it slimmed down on those who those who couldn't be immune to it, and their children would be immune to it. The ones that survived, and then theirs. So you had this, because it was a harsh world. Europe was a harsh. I mean, it was probably one of the worst places to live. Probably had the shortest lifespan, dirtiest, most disease-infested places. The style of clothes people wore, being in cramped, closed, wooden places for a huge amount of the year. Very bad. But what does that do? That makes those people durable as all get out, fucking resilient. And you had this going on. So when they sneezed in front of the Native Americans, I mean, most of the deaths weren't through slaughtering and violence. It was through just sickness, which is shit, probably worse. Hell, at least you can run from somebody who's trying to kill you. You can't. I mean, you got a disease in you, you're screwed. But at that time, and then the Europeans, no matter how durable they were to all the racking diseases racking Africa and Asia, they had nothing against the stuff that they've been separated from for shit forever, basically, from the Caribbean. So it just wiped people out. But there wasn't that many people coming back. Usually it was people going there. I mean, it would go back and forth just to a place like Spain and Portugal. And that's another thing. Oh, we're all immigrants. No, we're not. We're not all immigrants. There's native peoples here. There's colonizers. There's the descendants of those who colonized the place. And then there's immigrants. Immigrants never colonized anything. They came here after it was all established governments and everything. Which doesn't make them less. Hell, I got immigrant blood in me. But that thing, we're all immigrants, it's not true. That's to deny the brutalization of the colonies. And I'm not talking about 13 colonies. I'm talking about the colonization, the Latinization of all culture below the Rio Grande. Making them Roman Catholic, speaking Spanish. Basically erasing their culture from the memory of man. Almost a total... And I'm not blaming any Latinos or, that's how people were back then. That's what you did. I mean, the Spanish just had come out of basically a war, a continuous war on their peninsula that had lasted almost 1,000 years. And not to mention the stuff they saw with the Aztecs going on and ripping people's heads out. I mean, that's another thing. The Mayans, the Forest Mayans, helped them overthrow the Aztecs. If it weren't that the Aztecs were the Triple Alliance Aztecs were so cruel upon the other peoples, it probably wouldn't happen. Also, Montezuma was an idiot. His older brother could have kicked the shit out of the Spanish, but he was an idiot. His father could have kicked the shit out of him, but not. I mean, he wasn't a warrior. But if you say, oh, that's all ancient history, yeah, it is. Because out of that we got Mexico and all the Latin American cultures, which are beautiful, if I don't mind saying so myself. But out of that you had the birth of cultures. Out of the English and the Dutch coming over here, which I don't want, you know me, I don't like giving any credit to the Anglo-Saxon. They're the blood enemy. They would forge what is the United States of America, which did some great things, defeated the rise of violent nationalism, World War I, Nazism, and Japanese imperialism in World War II, and this brutal Soviet Union. But it might be acting like an idiot right now, and I would blame the American government for a shitload of things right now. But that's what happened. We don't speak Chinese. We don't speak Norwegian. Spanish and English, and Portuguese. French to some degree. But, I mean, that's just the way it went down. Too bad. Might have been cool if I were to speak Chinese. But we exist.